So there are a couple of reasons that I need you to understand trend continuation, support, and resistance levels. Number one, I just want you to be able to read price and spot areas of value. Later in your trading career, you may gravitate towards a more discretionary approach instead of having to have everything based on set in stone rules. Also, you'll get much better at having an objective way of identifying support and resistance just based on your own experience when you have a couple of years in the market. So I want you to be able to just read price and read areas of value like trend continuation, support, and resistance. And number two is it's important for you to understand every aspect of technical analysis by the end of this section, because later in the course, we're going to use all of these different aspects of technical analysis in order to build rules-based strategies. We do have strategies later in the course that are based around trend continuation, support, and resistance levels. So for those two reasons, we're going to dive deep into trend continuation, support, and resistance in this video and the next video. First, in this video, I'm going to play a video that'll give you a really good foundation of how to spot trend continuation, support, and resistance. And in the next video, we're going to be going over a ton of different examples. So let's go ahead and dive into this video and start out with how to identify trend continuation, support, and resistance. Using support and resistance as entry points in a trending market is very simple if we build on what we already know from the previous lesson about trend. If we were to draw out a trending market, it would look something like this. Low to a high, pullback, break above, a little bit of consolidation, not crossing that previous pullback low though. So what are we still in? An uptrend, right? Continuing, then pulling back, continuing up, pulling back, and continuing higher. In an uptrend, the likely scenario, if we're going to continue in this uptrend, and one of the best ways to look for possible support and resistance trades is to look at the previous level of resistance that was broken to become support. This is how we use support and resistance for entry points in a trend continuation model and in a trending market, is by using that previous level of resistance as possible support. Let's do a bearish example. In a bearish trend, the trend would look something like this, right? As we go further and further, what we're looking for in a bearish trend is for the market to get back up to that previous level of structure support that now we expect to become resistance. So this is called a break and retest strategy. And what we're looking for with this strategy, again, is the market to break below a previous level of support like we have right here, come back to that level, and provide a trading opportunity. We're going to talk about how we enter trades later on in the video. But what you need to know right now is using structure, support, and resistance for entry levels in a trend continuation model and in a trending market goes like that. And what we're going to do now is take a look at this on live chart data. Here we are on that same Euro New Zealand chart. What did we just discuss? Well, we want to see the trend start. So we have our low to high, higher low, followed by our higher high. At this point, the reason this is our higher high is because this is where the market made a new high compared to its previous high and closed above the previous level of resistance. With that being the case, the previous level of resistance is likely to become support for a trend continuation market, for a trend continuation trade. If we continue looking here, we have a push up, a pullback, a push up to a new high. This pullback, where does this pullback come to? If I was to draw this box out right here at our previous level of structure, resistance, and make it a little easier to see for you, what do you notice? At this point, with this trend continuation in mind, the market made a new high with our impulsive move. Comes down to our pullback. Where does our pullback come to? Our pullback comes right into the previous high that was broken. This is resistance turned into support, and this is how we use support and resistance to find entry points in trend continuation. Let's take a look at a bearish example of this now. Here we are on that same Euro Aussie chart we looked at for the trending model we were discussing earlier in the video. In this case, we have our high, down to our low, up to our high. Once we break below this low right here, what are we looking for? In a bearish trend, after we break that low, we would be looking for a pullback. And let me delete these lines to make it easier to see. into that low, just as we have right here, and a continuation of the trend afterwards. As you can see, this market pulls back right into the previous area of support. It does become resistance, and this market continues pushing down. This happens over and over again and looks to be happening right now on live chart data here on the Euro Aussie. Let's draw that out so you have a complete comprehension of how to use support and resistance to find entry points in trending markets. We have our high to our low, our lower high. What happens? We break below what? Our previous low. If we put a box around that previous low, what has price now done? Price has now came back into that previous support level that now is what? It's a break and retest strategy. So if it was support, it's now going to be resistance. So at this point, once we get to that level, we can start looking for entry reasons. Again, we're going to talk about ways to enter the market in these types of situations a little bit later on in the video. But for now, it's just important for you to understand and comprehend that we're looking for breaks and retests of support and resistance levels in trending markets, whether we're trending up or down. All right, so now you should have a good understanding of trend continuation, support, and resistance. In the next video, we're gonna go over a few examples of trend continuation, support, and resistance just to drive this point home even further and to ensure that you have a good grasp on this, because again, you will need it further down the road, whether you choose to do some discretionary trading when you're more experienced, or you will need it further down the road because of the fact that we do have strategies that incorporate this concept later in the course. Also, it's great to have this skill just as you're reading markets so you can understand what's likely to happen next in general. So let's go ahead and move on now to a few examples of trend continuation, support, and resistance to drive this point home, and I'll see you in the next video.